I have to say, Jay, your background almost looks like it's on purpose. It looks like a nice setup.
I'm a KOL doing live streaming.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like.
You have these like live streaming apps where people will have their own background, and it's usually like just a curtain, right?
Yeah.
So I have a pretty cheap plastic tray. All right, let's get going.
All right, sounds good. So thank you everybody for joining our very first live Q&A session. Pardon us if we seem a little bit nervous in front of the camera. This is the first time we do a live Q&A, but we're super excited to be answering some questions from our community. And that's actually the main purpose of this live stream, is to answer some of your questions, but also we want you to get to know our team a little better. I'm going to be your host tonight, so I'll start with a very brief introduction about myself. I'm marketing manager at REOS. My name is Fabi. Of course, dabble in a little bit of everything because we're a very hands-on kind of team. So joining me tonight are Jay, who is our head of marketing and BD, and our project lead, Leon. So Leon, maybe you want to start by saying hello and introducing yourself to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you everybody for joining the REOS first ever live broadcasting. I just want to briefly introduce our team and the platform. So our team has created the REOS platform because we want to give power and control back to digital content creators. On today's popular digital content distribution platforms, from YouTube to Facebook to Spotify, long tail content creators don't make much money, just simply put, and not to mention making a living. And this is because there are too many middlemen taking too much cut from the content revenue. So we want to solve this problem. REOS is a decentralized content platform that maximizes earnings for content creators. We have developed a revolutionary technology that combines blockchain with AI. We first incentivize users to discover and interact with content created on REOS. Then we determine the value of the content through the wisdom of the crowd. And then finally, we help content creators generate the most revenue by eliminating traditional middlemen. So we are very excited about this project, and we can't wait to make it a reality. Now, I'll let my my co-founder Jay say a few words and introduce himself as well.
Jay Cheng, I think some of you guys probably know me because I interact with you on Telegram quite a bit. I basically started this project with Leon not too long ago. I managed basically the marketing and the business development side for REOS. And basically the reason why we created this project is because we're looking at it more from the content creator standpoint, right? We feel content creators need to make more money. They need to have better ways to actually monetize the content, and that's why we're here. And hopefully the project, the product we create is something that you guys support as well. Because at the end of the day, in order to have real good quality content, it would mean that these content creators would need a huge fan base to support them as well. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Jay. So to summarize it, REOS is basically the world's first blockchain-based cryptographic exchange for digital content. So on that note, we actually have a question from a follower on Twitter, and he's asking something related to content. He asked, will there be patent rights for the content submitted to REOS, or how will the content be available for use? Jay, maybe you can help us with this question.
Yeah, I almost wish this person is also here so he can also kind of elaborate more on his question, right? Because basically, if you look at patent rights, there are multiple things we're looking at. If you're a content creator, or for instance, if you create music, you know that you want to protect your interests by submitting your musical production to BMI, right? Which is basically an entity that deal with music IP registrar, and that deals with a lot of the licensing aspect of music today, for example. And that isn't, to me, mutually exclusive, right? So we don't look at REOS as a patent registrar, right? We look at REOS as a platform that has its own content protection mechanism to help content creators to protect their content while facilitating the monetization on our platform, right? So for example, all the content that's actually submitted to REOS will be recorded on the blockchain, right? And then the blockchain will ensure the proper attribution of ownership. So as all the transactions happen on the platform, people know who actually owns what, right? And any of the DApps that's basically utilizing our blockchain will also be able to cover the interest of our content creator partners as well.
All right. I have to add a little side note, since you mentioned music as one of the examples. I have to tell our community that Jay actually used to be a musician. He's a pretty good musician, I have to say. So just telling our community members why this is quite close to us and quite close to his heart.
Right.
Right. So our next question is actually similar to this first one, but it takes it a little bit further. It's also a question we received from one of our community members. Leon, maybe you can help answer this one. How can you be sure of the protection of my rights to own a digital asset? How are we actually going to make sure that this happens?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is where, we actually created a lot of value for the content creators. So we have implemented a system to tokenize digital assets so that every piece of content is encrypted and protected. And we believe this is the first in the world, in the industry that we have seen. So the content creator initially holds the rights to the content, but the rights can be exchanged to other parties on our platform. By leveraging, the tokenization of the digital assets. So our goal is really to maximize income for content creators, as I stated at my opening.
Mm-hmm. So since we're talking about what the true value of the content is, and how our goal is to maximize income for content creators, what criteria will be used exactly to value the content monetarily to prevent under or overvaluation?
I'll take that one, I guess. So basically, when we look at content creation and how we actually value the content of whatever that the content creator actually created, we basically integrate both the human element and a AI mechanism to the process, right? So we gather basically what the community actually believes is right? So the community comes in and basically they can vote. We call it voting with stakes, right? It's a process that we implement to allow the community to upvote and downvote to basically allow us to understand the true value of the content. Obviously, we also understand that whenever there's human elements, there could be human errors, right? So we have a very unique AI algorithm and mechanism that we will implement to basically kind of offset the possibility of human error. The other thing is, people ask, how do we know if it's a true value or what if it's under or overvalue, right? I think in the life cycle of a piece of content as it goes on sale and through monetization, this is typical to everything that we see today, right? You go into a movie theater on day one, right, of the new movie. Then what happens is, the price is set, let's say $15 in the US, right? We're trying to catch a movie, but 3 months later, you go into a smaller theater, basically catching the same show. Obviously, the value changes, and whatever you're paying for is different. And what we also integrate is that, we will be able, based on supply and demand, basically in real time, also readjusting the value of the content as the user actually goes through the purchase process. This basically ensures the content creator will be able to monetize their content correctly, which is not something that they are able to today, but also ensuring the consumer throughout the process, not overpaying, for the content as well.
So this next question, also submitted by one of our community members, is a pretty big question. I think it's quite a broad question. And Jay, I'm going to ask you if you can help answer this as briefly as possible, because like I said, it's a pretty big question. What is the process of validation in the digital assets industry, and in particular in our company, REOS?
Well, why do I get that question?
Apologies, Jay.
It's obviously, way too big, right? So we don't really think there's a for all the online communities that are out there, and obviously there is a more streamlined process as to how the value of the content is actually being set, right? And that's basically done by none other, right? People behind the scenes, people that are running the platform, people who are actually advertisers, right? Which means nobody in the community has a say, right? You go to YouTube, watch a video, or you basically go to iTunes and try to purchase a song, right? The price is set by the record label and Apple, for example, right? It's not set by people that are actually making the process, making the purchase, right? What we do is we basically want to involve the community, right? So I like I alluded earlier, we have this process called voting with stakes, right? So the community members will actually upvote and downvote for the content, and the final value of the content is determined by a weighted average, of, again, real users and also AI-based machine learning. In the traditional industry, you also see upvote and downvote, right? But the system is prone to trolls and manipulation. In the blockchain world, Steemit, for example, has led the field, with its voting mechanism, but Steam power is unevenly distributed to favor its insiders. So the process isn't truly democratic. We believe we have a leading solution simply because we have a truly democratic process, while we have a great AI implementation to basically augment the entire system.
Yeah, if I may just quickly add about the Steam, right? So Steam is a leading platform, in the blockchain world that has championed the upvote and downvote system. However, Steemit, in fact, they from the very start, they assign the Steam power unevenly, to favor its insiders. So we actually designed our system just to make sure that we do not have that issue. So our system is truly democratic. And beyond that, we also leverage, machine learning and artificial intelligence to complement the manual voting system. So this is actually truly revolutionary. And I wrote an article on a Medium about the differences between Steemit and REOS. So you're welcome to go there and read my article.
Yeah, Leon, I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's actually a question that we received more than once on our social media channels. How does REOS compare to Steemit, which is what led to you writing this article. I think it's great that you brought it up.
Right.
So on that note, I think this next question comes with perfect timing. This was also submitted by one of our community members on our Bitcoin Talk forum thread. So how does REOS compete with established competitors?
Yeah, so I can take that. We compete, basically, we believe we have three major competitive advantages over our competitors. One is technology, the second is team, and the third is partnership. So from the technology front, we actually talked about various mechanisms for content creators to maximize their earnings on our platform versus the traditional content platforms. So in particular, we have designed the technology both to protect digital content rights and facilitate content exchange with real-time content value determination by leveraging both the wisdom of the crowd and the power of the AI. So we believe we have the technologies that's truly revolutionary. So that's number one. Number two is we have a very good team, an excellent team, truly international, both the team and the board of advisors. So from the technical
That's awesome.
perspective, the team has more than 20 years of experience in both multimedia and mobile security technologies, such as data encryption, DRM, Android framework, etc. The team also currently holds, or we are also applying for multiple international patents related to multimedia security and blockchain. Many of us have worked together, and this is very important that we have worked together for over a decade. So we know each other very well, and we still come together. And third is partnership. So we truly believe that in strong partnerships is our way to grow our user base and for us to foster high quality content on our platform. So we are working very closely with technology companies, mobile OEMs for application DApp distribution, user acquisition. We are also working with A-list content companies to acquire content, create new content. Some of the companies that we're working with include Cheetah Mobile. We're actually, just in Cheetah Mobile's blockchain incubator. We're working with OEMs like Lenovo. We're working with multimedia software companies like Nero. So from those three fronts, we believe that we actually have a great product, great team, and great partnership.
Yeah, so we're actually really excited about these partnerships, and we'll be sharing more news on our social media channels. So make sure to follow us and stay tuned and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, because we have some really exciting news coming up regarding these partnerships that Leon mentioned. Leon, I'm going to throw this next question at you as well, because I did hit on, I'm going to give Jay a break from that previous question, which was a little bit tough. So Leon, this one's for you. In the white paper of our project, it is written that the REOS wallet allows users to perform various smart transactions simultaneously on the REOS platform while leveraging the Ethereum blockchain. The question, this is actually several questions in one. How do you want to do this? How will it be launched? And will there be a possibility of carrying out transactions besides ERC20 transactions?
Right. Yeah, this is a great question. It goes to the technical details. So I on this broadcast, I just want to touch the very high level. Whoever asks this question, please feel free to reach out to me on Telegram directly for more details. So basically, our REOS tokens are initially issued on the Ethereum platform based on ERC20 standard. But we all know that Ethereum, the network currently, it still uses the the POW, and it's faster than the Bitcoin blockchain, but it's not that much faster, right? So we cannot rely on the Ethereum network for all of the transactions, because we are looking at many transactions on for digital content exchange. So we are building our own public blockchain to handle digital content, all the content validation system, all of those features are built on our own public chain. But we have also designed an on-chain, off-chain technology in order to interact with the Ethereum platform to improve the efficiency of the transactions. But over time, it doesn't mean that we will not migrate our REOS tokens to our own blockchain. So it's something that we are looking at. But for us, the most important thing is to have the efficiency, have the speed of the transactions. So this is my very high level answer to this very detailed question.
Okay, so as Leon mentioned to this user, if you're watching, feel free to reach out to Leon directly. You can actually find him on our Telegram group, t.me/REOSofficial. So this next question is going to go to you, Jay. Is there already at this stage of project development sponsorship from representatives of different countries or interesting investors?
So in partnerships, I think there are a few folds, right? One is, although I'm a failed musician with a failed music career, I still, we have a lot of good contacts, from in the content creation world, right? And we're talking about, guys in Asia and also in the US, musicians and KOLs that we're currently partnering with to basically have some exclusive content that will be available on our platform. I think that's one. And then like Leon said earlier, right? So we are in very close talks with some partners that have a huge distribution network, right? We're talking about PCs, big name mobile device makers, guys like Cheetah Mobile that has, very, very good coverage as far as footprint is concerned when it comes to, pre-installed apps and then app distribution. So we have a lot of distribution partners that are lined up. And then the last thing is in regards to sponsorship, we went on different roadshows since about a month and a half ago. We've been to Singapore, Bangkok, we went to Silicon Valley, went to New York, went to Beijing, basically try to evangelize for REOS, right? So ever since then, we've been getting some traction, and a lot of people have high interest in working with us and becoming potential investors and sponsors. And those are right now ongoing conversations. And one of those people that we really would like to partner with are those people who can also be technology partners. In addition to just providing sponsorship. For example, we are working very closely with a high-profile AI blockchain company as well to basically collaborate with them on technology while potentially getting some investments from them, so we can actually hit the ground running and create a product that we want to create.
All right, thank you so much, Jay. So this question. We've been asked this more than once on our social media channels. And actually, one of our viewers asked us a similar question just now. Hello to Mara031. Our users asked, what exactly are REOS tokens and how will they be used on the platform? I'll let any of you answer this question.
Yeah, sure. This is obviously, one of the keys, to our REOS platform is the REOS tokens. As I mentioned earlier, the REOS tokens is an ERC-20 compliant utility token. It will be circulating on the REOS platform. Now, it can be used for a variety of different purposes. For one thing, is we didn't get into the detail earlier when we talked about voting with stakes. So essentially, in order for someone to upvote or downvote a piece of content, the user would actually have to put in some tokens. So it's part of the token validation process that we use REOS tokens. But people can also use REOS tokens for a variety of other purposes. For example, they can pay to license content, to watch content. They can purchase branded goods from a KOL by using the REOS tokens. It could be used to support crowdfunding or digital tipping. So there are a variety of usage for REOS tokens. That's pretty much my answer to this question.
Okay, thank you, Leon. So I'm actually going to head on to our final question, and actually I'm going to go ahead and answer this one because this one I particularly like. A user asked, what does the word REOS mean and how did we come up with the name? So the word REOS, actually, how we came up with it is because it comes from the Latin creo, which means to create and make. And as we've said over and over, empowering content creators and making sure that they're rewarded fairly is one of our missions. It's very important to us. And so we thought that this would be a perfect name for our project. So that's it. That was our final question from today's Q&A session. We're going to
So
have.
Fabi, can I inject quickly? So
Please.
earlier you said, we both mentioned that Jay is a musician. He's a musician by training. So, Jay, why don't you just share a little bit of your experience and what was driving you to work on this REOS project, this platform, and from your personal experience, so you can probably talk, about it.
Okay, that question just came in unrehearsed. So basically, I think when I go out and basically talk about REOS, I started from my own personal experience, right? I think 20 years ago, YouTube didn't exist, right? So when I was a musician, it was really difficult for me to try to get exposure, right? I go into bars, I play with house bands or whatever, and go on tour, making very little money. Today, there's YouTube, there's Facebook, there's all kinds of social media, which gives people the ability to get exposure, right? But the fact of the matter is, outside of the real tier ones, most people are not making money, right? So some people, I mean, I live in LA, so you go into Hollywood, maybe go to Starbucks, right? The barista might be an aspiring musician or an actress, right? Actor. And they have to work a day job instead of focusing on creating content, right? And for example, some of my friends who are established, but then again, not tier one, not A-listers, they go on YouTube, create their own channel. They have probably 3,000 views of people watching them, playing guitar or perhaps doing a guitar lesson on YouTube. But then, for 3,000 viewers, you're probably making $30, right? For an hour of broadcast or an hour of content that you created, right? That's really not nearly enough. And from my standpoint, if we can cut off the middleman, if we can help the content creators to basically project the revenue that they can actually monetize their content with, I think that's great, right? Everybody would love to see a platform like that come into inception. Did that answer your question, Leon?
That's great. Yeah, that's great.
That was great, Jay.
Yep. So I guess the other thing is we want to, guys, if you have more questions, feel free again to come to our Telegram, right? We really would love to interact with you there as well. More, you can also go to reos.me, right, to read our white paper, to look at, to get more information about our company and kind of get to know us by reading our profile and stuff like that. But again, I think we definitely welcome real interactions. Although we might be boring sometimes, this guy on YouTube is saying, "Oh, this Asian dude is boring," and I was like, "Okay, so we have two Asian dudes."
Which Asian? Is it?
So we have this guy on chat, and then Jason actually removed it, but I caught the message. And by the way, she also said that girl is so pretty, but then we also removed that. Anyways. We enjoy, interacting with all of you. So if there's anything, just, feel free to reach out to us.
Yes, make sure to follow us on Telegram and on Twitter. Our usernames for both of these is @REOSOfficial, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can make sure to watch our next Q&A.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, thank you, Jay. Thank you, Fabi, and I want to thank everybody who have participated in our live broadcasting, and also I want to thank everyone who answered questions on different channels, and for all of the participants in our Telegram group. So we already have over 11,000 members on our Telegram group. So let's continue the lively discussion. So thank you all.
Right. So I mean, for those of you who post questions, as contest winners, we'll get in touch with you guys offline. So yeah, you'll get whatever you promised. I guarantee it.
All right. Okay. Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Good night.
Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.